We have in the studio now the Chief Gangster, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. You're most welcome to the Capital Gang. Chief Gangster, I must say you are late to Mwalimu's class. I was expecting you at 11 a.m. and when people come late to my class, I do tell them off, and after telling them off, we work out what the punishment will be. So as I go for the break, we shall sort out the punishments for the Chief Gangster for coming all of half an hour late. We stop for a break.
Perhaps it may sound like this. Better, but not great. Taste of Star Cafe Premium Coffee. Ah, coffee taste. Because only the finest Ugandan coffee goes into making the Star Cafe Premium. It's great. The greatest coffee experience.
For your classy, unique and stylish F88, come create your own style, everyday casual outfits, extended size and fitting clothes. Visit Gorgeous Triumph today or call.
You must welcome our Chief Gangster, Your Excellency, General Yoweri K. Museveni. I have apologies, Betty. Unfortunately, you did mention her at the NRM conference. She's away at a burial in Kochi. Our Musomali Lydia, she's away on duty. I hope you didn't send her away deliberately. And Chris is in Kanungu. So, but we have an able group, as we see here, ready to take you on. This morning, Your Excellency, I'm not going to go into the history because we have all the history. We had it on Gang, and we had it at the NRM conference as well. We go straight into your achievements at the delegates conference. A lot of people have been asking why you would return straight away, and I have people here who would ask. I have Richard Sebagalamsoke online. Good morning.
Good morning, Oscar. Good morning, Your Excellency. My question is very simple. Why have you decided to do yet another interview within weeks of the fast? Seems like there's a bit of a panic.
You think a president can panic?
Well, I don't know. I mean, they should tell us. It's unusual. He's not done any interviews like this for years, I believe. And now suddenly he's doing all these interviews. We'd love to hear from him.
And you don't think the Capital Gang is powerful? One would like to come again and again?
Well, I know for a fact, Oscar, you've been asking for the president to come on your program for years, and he didn't come. So I'm wondering, why now?
Okay.
3 weeks, he showed up again.
Okay. Thank you so much. He will certainly answer. I had Nteja Asimo as well on the line.
I have got two issues I would like to put to you.
Very quickly. He's here and listening.
First of all, Your Excellency, Happy New Year. Now, Your Excellency, after the delegate conference on the 15th of December last year, Balance is reported to have gone to court to challenge the decisions of that the delegate conference. My question to you, Your Excellency, is, are we seeing a divided NRM in 2015, or we are seeing a more united NRM? Lastly, Your Excellency, there is this issue of General Sejusa, who is a serving army officer, and he continues to make controversial partisan political statements. Why have you kept conspicuously silent on this matter? Yet Sejusa is a serving army officer who is not authorized by the law, by the UPDF Act, to make such comments, such political comments.
These are powerful questions, powerful comments. Thank you so much for participating in Gang. On Gang. Chief Gangster, when you went to the NRM conference, you told us here that you would see success if you generated party cohesion. At the same time, you have a young secretariat now. We've had a discussion on that. Semuju is reluctantly conceding that they are young. So do you feel that you succeeded at that conference? And having had a young secretariat, do you see yourself as young in the secretariat as well? Because you're the only one who has not changed yourself. Whereas you made comments over the festive season that there should be no panic, succession will happen, transformation will continue, but we must put that to you. And I want to also ask you, President, His Excellency, will you stand again for 2016?
He's a sole candidate. Can you ask a sole candidate whether he will
No,
stand?
he hasn't given an opinion anywhere. So we are going to get the opinion first time.
I mean, he's been working to edge out Obamas not to stand.
And I should have said, President, that today we are back in the studio. I have all the tools. I have now switched off Semuju's microphone.
Very good. I thank you very much, people of Capital Gang. First of all, the question of Sebagar, I think it was, whether Museveni is panicking. Well, I'm not panicking. I don't remember who arranged the conference in Entebbe. That time I could not come in the studio because I was engaged. So we used Entebbe, where the facilities are different. The questioners are not able to ask directly. And we agreed that time that I would come here.
Yes. And also to prove that the conference you would go as you wished.
No, that was not the main point, because I don't have to come and prove that one here. But the more important is the fact that the other conference was not as complete as this one, because this one is in the studio where I can hear directly from the questioners. That's the main point. Now, the second question about Right Honorable Mbaba going to court. You know me, I'm not a lawyer.
We have a resident one here.
That is an issue of lawyers. For me, I'm a freedom fighter. And my interest is management. In this case, political management. And our interest in having a full-time workers in the Secretariat, which is something we have been talking about for a long time. And that's what we wanted. So the lawyers, they can bring the arguments. I'm not a lawyer. They will sort that one out. That is their business. My business is to organize the party in such a way that it is efficient. And it has not been efficient recently because when we were in the bush, our party was very efficient. We had full-time...
Party in the bush?
Yes. Our movement, whatever you call it, was very efficient. That's when we started the committees. They were called RCs at that time, resistance committees. And Haji Gongo would manage them full-time. At one time we had, he was assisted by Elia Kategaya, people like Abe Mukwaya. Then later on, Elia Kategaya went outside, and Haji Gongo remained alone together with people like Jacob Asimwe, like Abe Mukwaya. That was our situation then, and we had direct contact with the committees all the time. The branches, you can call them branches. Even when we were in the earlier phases, we had the NPC, somebody called NPC, who would be in charge of this.
The National Political Commissar.
Yes. So this idea of an elected Secretary General, who also had other things to do, we did not concentrate on it when it first came. It was new actually. We had never had it before. When we had it in 2005, we had never had that type of arrangement. But when it came, we did not concentrate on it initially. But when we discovered the disadvantages, that's when we moved. And we've been talking about this for some time. It's not just now. So the court matters are not my issues. Those will be sorted out by the lawyers. Mine is how to organize our party efficiently.
Yes.
Now, thirdly, Tinyefuza, who's making public statements.
I noticed you also call him Tinyefunza, not Sejusa.
Well, but I'm sure people know who I'm talking about. Now, Tinyefuza, who is making those public statements are illegal. They should not happen, and they will stop. So that's all. We don't have to waste time on that. They will stop. Now the young secretariat. Well, I'm very happy with the young people. You should remember that when we started these movements, I myself, I was 26 years old when I was the leader of Fronasa, 1971. Before that, I was very active in the student movement in the 1960s. Before that, when I was just 21 or 20, I was very active in my area there, stopping those Banyankore from nomadism. So when you are talking to me, you are talking about a youth who is now 70.
Yes.
But who started his work when he was, his political work. Actually, even when I was in the teens, I was already working in the community. I therefore know the potential of the youth, if they are well guided. The mistake you make is to confuse biology with ideology. You seem to think that biology is a solution to societal problems. You can be young, but old ideologically, confused. People who are taking...
you accused Semuji of that the other day when we were at State House on Agan.
People who are taking Enjaga, they are young people. Some of them are young people. But they don't know what to do. They are misguided. So what we are looking for in the Secretariat is, yes, youth, but also older people. The issue is ideology, a combination of all levels of age, but around a convergence of ideological ideas.
Yes.
So that's Secretariat where you have got the young, you have got the grandfathers like myself. You have got the parents like these Kasuri Lumumbas, and you have got even grandchildren. We have some grandchildren there. That's very powerful.
Like Omona.
Well, the Omonas, the Anites, those are young people. Somebody of 40 can produce somebody of 20. You know that very well. So I think that's a very powerful Secretariat. Grandfathers. But that's how the cabinet is, by the way. The cabinet is already grandfathers, the parents, the grandchildren, they are all there.
But Your Excellency, when we put that question to O earlier, he was stammered. It's on a very, very, very same line. He stammered through an answer. But maybe again, as you go on with clarity, are they going to resign their positions, the ministers, and are they going to resign their positions from Parliament? Because if I keep them, then, as you say, this clamoring to make them free will have been to be confusion.
No, definitely, ultimately, they will have to resign.
From Parliament?
Yes, ultimately. When that may be a matter of convenience, but ultimately they will resign.
But Chief Gangster, that takes you to where you started with the past Secretary General, because when you appointed him and he had a choice between Prime Minister and Secretary, it's what you said. Ultimately, he should leave one of them.
No, that time it was like an understanding between us and the Right Honourable Mbabazi. But this one is in the law. It is in the constitution of the NRM now. And the constitution of the NRM is now gazetted.
Yes.
So it is part of the law of Uganda. It will be actually illegal if they continue to
be in Parliament and then work for the party as well.
Yes, it is impossible.
So as chairman, you'll be saying to them, I expect you to resign very soon.
The question is, when do they implement? It's just convenience, but it's not whether, but when.
Okay.
Now, finally, you are always people are fond of dishing food before it is ready. I don't know why you kujabura, you people. Are you going to stand in 2016?
It is important to know, Chief Gangster.
No, what is important is to work. You know, this is your problem. My young friends and also some of the other Ugandans. When we were fighting, we didn't know who would even survive. The first time we discussed the question of who should take which position was on the 20, we captured Kampala on the 26th of January 1986. And the following morning, 27th, we met in Rubiri, and the question was, what do we do now? So my advice to you people, and this is really serious advice, and I'm glad I am here. That's why I like to come and talk to you directly, so that you hear my advice. And this advice is from somebody who knows what he's talking about. If you get an assignment, please do it. Do it. Don't say, oh, what will I be tomorrow? What will I plan? No. Do your assignment. Do it well. When the time comes for something else, people will sit down, those concerned, and say, what do we do? Now, instead of people doing their assignment, they are busy dreaming, planning, scheming. That's not a good idea. Such people don't succeed. I have seen many. So I cannot be part of that indiscipline. To go here, start disturbing Ugandans. They have got enough problems to solve, school fees, what have you. I want this, I want this, I want this. I'm already given an assignment. Let me do it. When the time comes, we shall sit, the people who are concerned will sit without campaign, without pressures, without scheming, and say, what do we do next?
Okay, Chief Gangster, Your Excellency, I'm still going to squeeze you a little bit further on this one. You see,
and it is also,
yes.
I'm not even sure that it is even legal. I'm not.
No, it isn't. But it isn't legal. No, you can say you wish to stand. It is not illegal.
Because when you start saying, I want to stand. Stand in which election? The commission has not announced.
Your Excellency, Chief Gangster, let me take another angle to this one.
It may not be illegal, but certainly it is indecent.
Let me take another angle to this one, Chief Gangster. You say when you came in Lubiri, then you said, now what? That is equally indiscipline. Because 2016 is 1 year away. Some people are very well disciplined. They even know what they want to do in 2018. So the discipline is to say that you will offer for yourself and that you will address the matter later.
No,
but then on the issue of services, and I have a message here. Take services, for example. For me personally, I'm also fed up with the politicking, especially since, Your Excellency, you have not yet looked at Chigo Road, and those people are saying to me, you are sharing studios with the president, talk about services. But I have Frank Bogere here on Facebook. He says, Happy New Year, gangsters. Please ask Mr. President that we don't want politics in 2015 to hamper service delivery, as everyone will be thinking about re-election. The whole year shouldn't be wasted talking about politics, but rather ensuring that the public gets the services they deserve from government. But President, everyone talks about politics. Even our OO here talks about politics. Yet I want my road fixed. I want other things done, not politics. When Besigye walked to Kampala to get the services, he was stopped from walking. He claims he wasn't politicking.
Now, I had not conspired with Bogere.
No.
Bogere is saying exactly what I was telling you.
But the reality
is telling you that you people, you are really inconsiderate. Our people are busy struggling with life, with school fees, with all those things you are talking about.
Yes.
Now, instead of concentrating on those where you have an opportunity, in case you have an opportunity, but even if you didn't have, even in your private capacity, you could help. Instead of doing that, you are busy planning. What will I be? What will I be? What will I be? I want to be this. I want to be this. This is very wrong. It is wrong. It is indecent. It is not our way of working. As freedom fighters, if we were talking like that, actually we would even be maybe even cowards. Because if my plan is, say, we are in Ruero, we are fighting, but my plan is to be president. That means I will have to avoid risks so that I survive. So it is totally, it's a subversive, it's a wrong way of working. So please don't involve me in that. That I should disturb Ugandans with matters of tomorrow when we have got serious issues of today which need to be addressed. By handling the ones of today, when tomorrow comes, the Ugandans are there, the parties are there. Like in our case, we have our central committee, we have our NEC, we have the national conference. Those people will come and say, okay, we have done this in the last 5 years, what do we do now? So I would advise you really to stop that anarchy of every day being election day. That's not good. That's what Bogere, that man is saying.
Frank Bogere on Facebook. Okay, Chief Gangster, thank you so much. After the break, Samuju, I'm going to take you on.
The Capital Gang on 91.3 Capital FM.
Honorable Samuju,
Yes.
the challenge you have is when you face President Museveni, it's kind of unwinnable. He won't say that I'll offer myself, but he has said if a service is required, and let's work on the services. Now, on that one, you agree. Stop politicking, give a service. And then he gives the variety of age and ideology that should be in a secretariat.
I think if you've been around and in Uganda for some time, you'd certainly know that President Museveni will not answer that question. All the time he has offered himself is being urged to stand.
Is that illegal?
He creates an impression that him as a person is not interested. But people are urging him to stand. And that's why in many NRA meetings, where the process of him becoming a candidate starts with some resolution of Anite and Omona urging His Excellency to stand. And that's how he has gone against his own word. Because if you read his manifesto, I think the one of 2001, at least in more than, I think on more than 4 pages where he said, I am not coming back. And eventually he was urged. So you are right to say he's one of the cleverest men we have in this country. But the point is, and the president said it in his book, what are Africa's problems? If we don't sort out politics, governance, you will not stop discussing it. Because let me tell you, Oscar, the president, when he came here and captured power, 1986, Uganda was the project. Along with the way the president became the project, the amount of money now we spend on the presidency and keeping him in power is almost more than the amount of money we spend. You're talking about delivering services. You'll never deliver services once a leader becomes the project of a country. The president came here, he said, I'll go and buy furniture in Kawempe. He was riding Santana. He gave his ministers in Saniraure, he said, we must be frugal with our resources. When I was in South Sudan, at the inauguration of that country, the president came with his jet, the chopper was there was a motorcade. When you combine the amount of money we spend on the president visiting, in fact, I sat with the ministers and MPs from UK and other countries that had been sent there by the speaker. When the president arrived, they were wondering whether he was the president of South Sudan. South Africa, which is the second biggest economy in Africa, their president came with 3 vehicles provided by South Sudan. The one of Uganda came with a jet, with a chopper, with a motorcade of about 50. And even all these people you see now who are hovering around, it is not because they love the president more than Mushega. It is because they have discovered when you go and begin praising the president, there will be personal benefits. And that's what is killing Uganda. We will never discuss anything. In the parliament, we are discussing the president. On radio, everybody is discussing Mr. Museveni. And it is only him who can stop this discussion. when the president put Uganda at the center of the discussion, the time when he was still, because he's also been around, ideologically charged, and I use that word ideologically charged, I meant it. He said, now we will no longer buy your thing. We'll bring a maize, you give us a ammunition, you give us this and that.
And you think he's changed from that?
I said when he was ideologically charged.
And you think he's changed?
The environment has changed him. He's not a socialist that we had when he captured power. He's now a capitalist.
Has the environment changed you? You drive a Prado, your wife drives a car.
It was because of the limited resources. But once personally I get money, I'll go and buy the most expensive vehicle, me as a person. So therefore, the point I am making, you will never get an answer from President Museveni whether he will stand. Okay. Because now it will be like he wants, and always he wants to create an impression he doesn't want. He's being urged by Anite, by so and so.
But you also have to take on board that they are urging, because if you asked really, even in his sleep, he would say he wants Museveni to leave. He's urging him.
His colleagues with whom they fought to come and liberate Uganda, they all have been asking him not to continue standing. Okay. Who is asking him? When the president came here, Nekesa, Omona, Anite,
who are his colleagues?
Some of them were not even born. He came here when I was 12 years old. So therefore the point, Oscar, if you can allow me just one more second. Yes. First of all, that answer you will not get. But secondly, you cannot discuss service delivery without discussing President Museveni.
Okay.
Let me tell you one thing as I finish. The president this year in Parliament, because he's the Minister of Finance, he allocated the State House 200 billion shilling. 80 billion shilling is for him to donate. The one who is responsible for roads, for hospital, he also has money to go and giving around. And that's why the other day I think some optimists outsmarted him. They made him carry a sack of money. And that was bizarre in the history of this country, to make a head of state carry money. And I know he will never repeat it.
I wouldn't mind it.
But then one month down the road, I saw him lining people in the State House and they were receiving boxes of money. The work of now Brigadier Naroiso in the State House is distribution of money. I think the president, when he goes back to the time Binaisa was there, he must be angry with himself that actually he has surpassed Binaisa. State House was never a vote. It was a department under President's office. It now receives money. You have let me tell you, the day President Museveni will do this country a favor and stop promoting himself as a project, all of us will be celebrating, and I think I'll lead the choir to go and sing for him.
Okay. Abdul, the president, as he did the other time, has the high ideal. He says he wants service delivery, leave the politicking. Semunju says without the politicking, service delivery will not happen. It is good that the president comes to the gang, sits with very vocal members of the opposition, and he gives answers.
I hope one day he will go and sit with the civil society, with the opposition, and they discuss
and he gives answers to the satisfaction, or I don't know, to Semunju. Abdul Katondo.
Well,
by the way, I pick up on these things. Semunju has said about President Museveni. By the way, I'm very happy with him. Let's record that one. My producer, Kidan, is going to record that one. We'll play it. Yes, Abdul Katondo. Honorable Abdul Katondo.
Well, I think there's a difference between politics and politicking, in my own view. You cannot divorce politics from service delivery. It is actually the politics that delivers service to the people. Because politics and governance are related, once your politics has a problem, it will certainly affect service delivery. I thought we need to get that right from the beginning. And maybe it sort of goes to what Semunju is saying. You see, once you have a little bit of turbulence in the politics, it's not even politicking, then people who are supposed to be delivering, supervising, monitoring service delivery get diverted. And what the period which we have just come through the last 6 or so months shows this. You know, you get members of parliament, instead of doing what they are supposed to be doing, they are busy, you know, doing politicking in our country. Then you get a cabinet subcommittee. You get ministers who are supposed to be 24 hours running ministries, and they are out there trying to do politics and so on. Then you come, and then we have these debates and so on. I sometimes sympathize with the president. I don't know. I think he must be naturally gifted. These sort of meetings, Your Excellency, you hold every other day, almost in, day out, the whole day, the whole night, and so on.
But that's part of the president's work.
Absolutely.
He would have to do that.
Absolutely. But yet, then they're not really discussing. Sometimes, actually, he sort of gets them away from what has taken them. They say, look, can we go to service delivery and so on? But really, the country is not discussing service delivery, but they are discussing politics and even
And that's what you're going to have in 2015.
And that's my biggest problem. 2015 is gone so much, into high gear, really almost maybe even 1.5 years before the elections. And Your Excellency, you see all these meetings you've been holding, including the national conference. The whole thing was about solo candidate. You just need to go up country among your structures and so on. That is what is being discussed, including civil servants, unfortunately, the fellows who should really be at the forefront of service delivery. So, to the extent that we should emphasize the service delivery, yes, the president is correct. But that the politics is now guiding or driving this service delivery and having the problem that you should address, such that you get your men and women out of the politicking and they go to service delivery. But if you become a partner with them, then that becomes a big problem. And let me tell you one thing, why I do think politics and service delivery are very, very much related. Let us look at the period before 1971, when everything went bizarre in this country. And I want to give a very good example, which the president knows very well, because he's a cattle farmer. Uganda was engaged in meat production, beef production, and actual export with Uganda meat packers and so on. Since 1986, when the president came from the bush, up to now, have we moved any step to restore Uganda to that level, such that by now we are talking about value addition to an industry which the president really has a passion for? He's an active participant to restore us to 1971. And I've said this before, Your Excellency, if you don't, that I was about to be tempted to join the NRM when you had just come. Me and my brother here, we are still at university. Because we were convinced by some of your cadres, and I would mention them, Kale, Vesije, Amanya Mushega, Kahinda, Victor Buana, there was this Oriamaza. The guys were really ideologically anchored. They'd come to the university, convince us, say, look, at this where the country should go, and so on. They would even point out the mistakes of the earlier regimes and so on, even when they knew some of us were a little bit hostile because of our UPC background. But they would really engage us and so on.
And now what do we have?
And we could see people who are really focused. There is a problem now, Your Excellency, that caliber of people are not there. They are absent. They are absent. And the sort of people who are there, are not the ones you'll be talking about service delivery. No.
Anita is not interested in service delivery.
No, I don't want to mention that.
Okay, but before you come off the microphone.
Oh, am I about to?
Yes.
I saw
No. Before you come off, you, Abdul Katuntu, had a bet with our chief gangster the last time he was on Gang, and you're saying the delegates conference is going to have turbulence. They will not achieve that high ideological point that he wished for which he wished. And he's going to put to you that it was very successful. The new secretariat was appointed and went through very well. They won it.
That's true, but let me say this. I only talk about the NRM to the extent that I'm talking about Uganda. It's like somebody's wedding. If somebody says he had a very good bride, but he didn't want anybody to take a picture of that bride. Why should I be bothered? It is his wedding. It's not my wedding. So I'm not so much interested about the NRM, what goes on. So, but why, only to the extent that they affect my country, and the decision will affect my country. That's where I'm very much interested, and I make my own contribution that, excuse, this is not correct. For example, if they have their manipulation, their democratic tendencies, and so on, I want to let them have their own what? Their own party. That's their problem. However, issues like I've been trying to emphasize about service delivery, because that really defines a little bit of my difference with the current regime. That you have, for example, when the president came in 1986, say, look here, gentlemen, how can you have a country which does not produce a safety pin? And you see, it was logical, it was common sense, everybody was looking at himself as
or people who are not wearing shoes.
Yes, and
I say this because you are from
yes,
Busoga.
and I would, you would see.
Abdu, you haven't had the last bit. I say this because you are from Busoga. I'm being diplomatic here.
No. I think that is on the lighter side. Though, and you could see a leader who, to use the president's word, who had a vision, who would like to move a society from pre to some either
he says middle economy.
Middle economy.
Within 20 years.
And yet, we are in excellency that you're a cattle farmer, you can't add value to your cattle. That even the toothpick we are having today is imported. That we can't make paper, this paper, which should be made out of rubbish. Out of wood, waste wood, and we can't make it. And the sort of team you are having, the sort of team you are crafting.
You have made the point.
And then I want to end. You see, because the president, when we were in Entebbe, he was really talking about those ideals, which the entire country should agree with. And yet, he holds a conference, and what my colleagues are supposed to do, it's all about, again, politicking. The entire politicking. Then you achieve what the objective of the conference was, but the real substance, which should have been discussed, were actually absent.
Okay.
But Oscar,
before we start,
just 1 second, Oscar.
Okay.
Because you see, the target of that conference was to remove Mama Mbabazi.
In your opinion?
No, in the opinion of everybody. I mean, the whole cabinet went around the country with the MPs.
Okay.
Mbabazi was successfully removed. There was no riot. There was military and police. They had covered, you say I am a neighbor of Nambole. They had covered the entire place. They had pinned up posters of President Museveni with the word sole candidate all over the place. So therefore, if you're not talking about politics...
Well, he participated one after another.
I don't know, maybe the president in the future will have to stop them. He wants us to discuss...
I know when a general is in the house, you don't have a lot to say, but let me be generous and give you your 2 minutes.
Well,
and the focus here is, you see, when the president comes here, he has ideal society, higher order skills. Let us look at the ideology, stop politicking, and he has said it must stop. Let us look at service delivery. The trouble is, he has people like you.
Well,
for you are interested in politics.
The president teaches a lot of... The president teaches a lot of political economy. How do you merge theory and practice? And I would invite Honorable Semujo and Abud and everybody listening to go and read about...
What they are saying to you is he's not doing well, because he has that, and for you are into
political economy. To read political economy. Let me just take only 2 or 3 things. Semuju is faulting the president on frugality when he came and now. Abudu is faulting him around the same thing, saying we are not able to make safety pins. We are not able to pack beef.
Don't try and answer those ones.
No. Listen.
Chief Gangster is here.
You have asked me. Can I make my take?
Those are not the ones I asked you.
In 1986, virtually everything was being imported. Indeed smuggled. What is the situation today? The situation today is that about 60% of everyday common user items in the households are manufactured in Uganda.
No.
Consequently, we are employing a lot more people. Therefore, Samuji made your point.
You must know.
A lot more. We are able to employ more Ugandans. We are able to give them, in fact, in real terms, better money. And third, we are able to generate and collect more money, and therefore fund the larger part of our budget.
Okay, your number two.
Number two is the politics of NRM, or the consultation NRM has been going through in the last 1 year, or indeed the last 5 years, mutually exclusive from service delivery. Is the service delivery, the level, is it going down or going upwards? In our assessment as a government, as NRM, we see that the service delivery is going up. You can just take 3 areas. Take the area of infrastructure, either energy or water, or indeed roads. Take the number of enrollment in schools or construction of schools and health centers, whether government or private, the numbers are higher.
Okay, number three.
Number three, the dialectics. When you study dialectics, you study the transformation of quality to quantity and vice versa. Is the general quality of life, the general quality of politics?
That is very outdated.
Yes, it is not outdated. You need to read it. Is the general quality of the politics, the governance in Uganda, better or worse? And if you look at the different elements of governance, are we reversing? Are we going backwards? What is the general axis? All of us, I think the majority of Ugandans agree that the general trend is that the rule of law, peaceful existence, accommodation tolerance is on the uprise trend, and chances of reversing is minimal. The state is more stable. Okay. And therefore, you need to judge NRM, indeed the leadership of NRM.
Before you come off a microphone, because what you've said is the president will address. What I wanted you to address, why is the president at the higher end, and why are you people at the lower end? He wants you to stop politicking and talk about my road. He wants you to stop politicking and talk about my school.
Well, when in Entebbe I told you that the level of ideological depth in any political organization can never be at the same time. And I want to tie this with the argument of Semuju, who's arguing as if Yoweri Museveni was a property of the Amanya Mushegas with whom he came. He was never. Once NRM captured state power and became the state machinery, the government machinery, and Museveni became part of the state machinery, he became the property of many people in Uganda, and therefore he ceases to be. And therefore, he must work according to the dictates of the majority, provided that majority is working through a democratic framework. And therefore, this idea that the president should only listen to those with whom he captured state power, supposing they were wrong. In fact, events have proved many of them that they were wrong, because many of them ran away from battle before the war had ended.
Okay. Thank you very much. Before we go for a break, I have a couple of messages here. I have Angelo ask about low oil prices and high fuel prices still in Uganda. Globally, low oil prices. In Uganda, high fuel prices. Second, Uganda plans a refinery. Is that the answer to cheaper fuel for running the economy? How will we finance the refinery now that investors are hedging their bets with oil under $65 per barrel? Can NRM guarantee a low pump price as other countries now that crude oil prices are low? And what is Uganda's future with that? I have on Facebook, Kenneth Navasa Rendere. Does the president admire champions of democracy like Nelson Mandela? If so, what's his plan as far as transition is concerned? Turiamwomwe Fred Oscar. Tell the president that all is not lost, because he can still declare his intention of not participating in the forthcoming election. The president argues that Ugandans still want him, But he forgets that Nelson Mandela was liked by South Africans, but he had to leave. Question is, why doesn't he leave peacefully? Joel Butusi, let him tell us about oil plans, how far the nation has lived to expectations of the oil benefits. I also had a question earlier about Mulago Hospital. About renovating Mulago Hospital is problematic. You don't need just renovating buildings. You need to consider paying higher for human resources. And why is it rich people like Sudi that must come and rescue children instead of fixing the problems in Mulago? We'll stop for a break, and after that, we have a chief gangster responding to many things.
Greens, a senior extensionist from Nyaksozi. I salute Your Excellency, our beloved President. I wish to extend my sincere appreciation to you for the sacrifice you have rendered to this country in bringing peace.
Consumer Greens, I need a question.
Okay, Your Excellency.
Go on.
Whenever I get an opportunity to meet you, I have always suggested, discussing with you, and suggested that we create educational monitoring unit under your office. And we have agreed that we shall be putting this education unit under your office, like the health unit that is already in your office, to monitor the implementation of the government policies.
Okay.
Your Excellency, how far have you gone with this? Thank you, Excellency.
Thank you.
I'm called Nwabine Joseph. I'm the aspiring MP for Kaura constituency.
Josie, aspiring as NRM independent or what?
I was in NRM primaries. I was in the NRM primaries, but I never made it.
Okay, go on with your question then.
Excellency, the muzzling of the press, the muzzling of the measures, the so-called measures, that people would go to these measures and pour out their anger. Gone are the days when people are still using this chance of expressing themselves now that the measures are no more. Your Excellency, my question is, are you aware that these measures were muzzled? And if yes, who did this? And Your Excellency, are you aware that people are burning with anger simply because they are not expressing themselves in these measures?
Okay, thank you very much, Josie. The president has surely listened. Thank you. There you go. Callers to the chief gangster, and you have responses to make here. Interestingly, Josie Nwabine is NRM, and then he talks about people are burning with anger.
Well, I thank you very much. You have raised very many points. I have recorded 20 points here. I don't know whether I can answer all of them. But let me start with the one of not making a pin. Well, I think that's
a safety pin.
A safety pin. I think that's a very important one. I was using that expression to mean the low level of industrialization in Africa. And we have been working on this. First of all, we had to work on peace because you could not deal with one without dealing with the other. We had to work on peace, and that's what we have achieved. Secondly, we had to work on infrastructure, because those industries depend on infrastructure. If the costs of infrastructure are high, then it will be very difficult for those industries to succeed, to survive. We still have some little problem with the price of electricity, mainly because of the distortion caused by Bujagari, which was built by private people. Our people did not negotiate. They have not satisfied me very well why they did not negotiate as we had negotiated with AES. Because earlier on when we had AES, there was an American group which was going to produce a unit of power at 4.9 cents. These fellows ended up producing power at 11 cents, which is very expensive, and we cannot, we shall have to sort it out. But fortunately, the other older stations, like Narubare, the one on this side, produces a unit at 3 cents. The other one of Kira produces a unit at 3 cents. And what we are planning for Karuma, it will be 5 cents per unit, and Isimba will be 4.8 cents. So when I asked Kawagambe Karisa why this mistake of why did they not maintain the policy, the price level of AES, which was negotiated with AES, which was 4.9 cents, he told me that that there was a delay, and there was a shortage of money in the world, and that there was also the other, the other